Hey, Adam,
Jeez,
one
why,
thing.
why do you think they called bumpers, Gary?
I don't know.
Because they come at the beginning, at the end, like bumpers.
Alex, you're a marketing guy. Do you like that design behind Paul? Does that logo thing look pretty cool to you?
Hey, I forgot to hit the record button.
Yeah, that's really professional, isn't it?
Well, this is a professional podcast.
I met her in a parking lot and was handed 2 little Yorkies. And the only person I knew that knew Yorkies was Paul. So I called Paul and said, Paul.
Sweet Talk is a weekly 20-minute podcast brought to you by the Continuing Education and Workforce Training Division of Idaho State University's College of Technology. Find us on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and SoundCloud and subscribe today. Now it's time to get started with Sweet Talk.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Sweet Talk, our weekly podcast here at Idaho State University's Continuing Education and Workforce Training. I am Paul Dickey, one of your hosts here. I am the video instruction manager and apprenticeship coordinator here at Sweet. And as always, our new interim director, RaeLyn Price, is joining us today. How are you doing today, RaeLyn?
It is a fabulous Friday. I'm so excited for today.
Fabulous Friday.
And lots of
also,
good things.
And also joining us is Angie Wilhelm, our marketing director. Angie, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Today we have a really special guest. As many of you might be aware, November has an apprenticeship month. With it, along with that, there is a Women in the Trades that are being celebrated. And today we have a really special guest with us. We have Jordan Tucker. She is an appliance repair woman here in our local area. Welcome, Jordan. Can you take a little bit of time to tell us about yourself?
I work with my father at Tucker's Appliance. We repair appliances and sell appliance parts, and have been here since 1939.
Wow.
Yeah, and I've worked here for 24 years. So,
Wow. Okay, questions. So obviously it's a family business, and you grew up with that business around you. At what age were you dragged in? Or did you voluntarily start working within the family business?
oh, that's a good question. Because I started coming to the shop when I was 5 years old, and I just was intrigued. My dad was always fixing things, and he would notice that I'd be watching him, wanting to say, what's that tool? What are you doing? He's like, oh, do you wanna try it? And I was like, yeah. So, and then I started actually working at 14, doing the books. I was just doing books, and then it progressed quickly into repairs.
Okay, why was the progression? Was it just a need going, hey, we're short on repair people? Geez, can you help out? Is that the way it kind of works?
That's kind of how it works. Yeah. That, and just the curiosity, I think, that I had. Well, let me try that. I want to try.
So I have a question for you, Jordan. Are there many women in this industry?
I haven't personally met any here in our area, but I know that there are, because I have account reps for our distributors that have said they've had a few.
Okay. So if somebody wanted to get into a trade like this, is there special training that you have to do? Is it more on the job?
It's a lot of on-the-job training, but there are, I believe, 2 schools now that you can go to for appliance repair, and one of them's in Florida. Fred's Academy is the name of one of them. I don't know what the other one is called offhand, but yeah. So now it is actually something that you can go and do it's 2 weeks, 2-week course,
Okay.
and you stay there and you get a certificate, and then the rest is just on the job,
On the
you know.
job.
And also you can do you can sign up with different programs where you can do training online, or watch different trainings that they offer, um at your whenever you want, at your leisure, really. And then they host different ones, I think monthly.
Okay.
So
I imagine like appliances, they change, right? I mean, you go from just your basic appliance to more computerized technology. And I imagine that some of that requires some probably specialized training. And like, as it changes, you have to really keep up with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And a lot of manufacturers are really good at putting out like bulletins. And now with it going more electronic, they do have devices that you can plug into appliances
Mm.
that will tell you a little bit of what's going on in here, which is reliable if there isn't a broken wire somewhere in the appliance. So you have to know to also be able to look beyond just what the computer's telling you, which is kind of tricky as they're, updating appliances, and you've got water mixing with electronics in one, you know, metal container, whatever. So
Yeah, that would be really tricky.
So I have a question. Can you talk a little bit about, because I know that, obviously you're going into people's homes when you're fixing their appliances. Can you talk a little bit about the reaction of women when you show up? Like, does it make them feel a little bit safer
yeah,
when they?
I've had women schedule appointments, and then I show up and they're like, "Oh, I didn't know it was going to be a female, and I would have let you come before my husband was home, and I feel comfortable with you." So it's been really neat, the responses, especially from women on coming in and them not having to have any worries when I'm there. So
Mm.
it's really cool. And a lot of men actually too. Not that they feel safe, but they're like, this is really neat. This is cool.
Yeah.
So, Jordan, obviously you probably were trained by your dad as you into this field. He showed you all the ropes, and since the business is, since 1939, I would imagine his dad trained him. So it's almost a generational training thing?
Yeah. Yeah. His dad started the business, and he worked there when he was younger as well. And then he went to school for electronics and
Mm.
ended up moving back in 88
Hmm.
and taking over the business. So
Wow. That's
So
probably been pretty valuable for him to have that electronic background too.
very much.
Yeah, when you're dealing with, so has he taught you some of those same things so that you can uh deal with the electronic, the motherboards and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, everything I've learned has been from him. I haven't done any schooling. I haven't done any of those classes. It's all been just from him or trial and error in the shop before I was ever sent out. I worked in our shop that we have here in Pocatello for on appliances for 15 years. And then and then I got sent out on service calls finally, which is what I wanted to do. Get out of the shop. Uh Started that about 6 years ago.
Oh,
so
wow.
you wanted to do service calls. What was the attraction to do service calls?
I just thought I wanted to see how I would do. I wanted to get out of the shop, talk to people, a different environment. It's a little more challenging when you don't have every tool at your disposal in your building and all the time to figure it out. And so you've got an hour. We only do an hour window for all of our service calls so that people can plan around their work schedule or kids' schedules. And so it puts a little more challenge to being very efficient on what you're doing. And I just I think it was too that I wanted to prove that I could do it, because we have tried to hire people over the years, men over the years. I haven't had any ladies come to apply. And it wasn't working out, or they'd be hesitant to go out, and my dad's like, Jordan just says, okay, well, I'll just go and I'll try to figure it out. If I have a problem, my dad's always there. So yeah, I really enjoy it.
So do you have any like memorable stories from your time working as an appliance repair person that you could share with us?
Let's see. Like on service calls?
Anything.
I remember when I first started doing service calls in people's homes, that I was nervous once I would get there. And people sometimes will pull up a chair and watch you work on their appliance. And one of the first times that happened to me, I was at this guy's house, and I was nervous because he didn't have any of his breakers labeled. I couldn't turn off the power, and he's a mechanic, and he pulls a chair up right next to me to watch me work on his dryer. And I thought, oh my gosh, I've never done this like with somebody watching me. And it was also like changing out a motor, and I'd done that a few times, but it was just, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous and couldn't really see. And I remember I put one wire on the wrong terminal or something like that, and I was calling my dad, and I'm like, what do I do? And he's like, well, you're gonna have to figure it out. And I was like, I'm gonna have to figure it out. So took it that far, it was just one little wire. But things like that, I've had that happen a couple times where, you're just nervous because somebody's watching you. But then when my dad's like, hey, you're gonna need to be able to do this on your own, you just, okay, figure it out. But that was one of the times that I remember. And the guy was really nice about it too, and talking about his car repairs and stuff like that. So really kind of eased the whole thing for me. But yeah, I don't have too many real good stories, I guess, that I can think offhand.
Well, that's
So,
probably good though.
yeah. So
Yeah.
you've been working in this business since you were young. Was it your dad's hope that you would join the business, or did he just kind of was surprised that you were interested in it?
He was surprised. I think he didn't want me to feel strapped to the family business.
Mhm.
And but over time, I'm very appreciative that I'm here. He thought, I want you to be able to go and do whatever you want and try something else out. But we work so well together, and it's something that's very interesting to me. And it's also it just means a lot for me to have our family business here in the community and what we're offering, because every day I have people come in and say, I'm so glad you're still here. So it's kind of a sentimental thing. But for him, now it's like, no, don't go on vacation, we can't survive without you, kind of a thing. And so he's getting to the age where he's at retirement age. He's 67, and
Okay.
yeah, and wants to turn the business over to me. So
Oh, that
um
is
it's
that's
gonna
amazing.
yeah,
That's
it's gonna be
amazing.
challenging, a little nervous, because I'll be running. I mean, I do also the whole business aspect.
Mhm.
Um, because I don't know if it's like this in every family business, but you have a lot of different job
It's like
descriptions.
that. It's
You're
like
just
that.
like every day it's, oh, now you're doing this. So I have been running the business and doing our books and everything like that for the whole time.
So
So I'm a little nervous, but I'm also like, okay, I got this. I know what to do. It's just gonna be challenging finding new technicians. It's it's not a
Yeah.
course that's offered at universities. Um,
So, Jordan, that being said, when you are out in the real world and you're talking to people and if the subject comes up, what do you do for a living? What are their reactions?
they're like, oh, like that's different, And I think they just don't even really know what to say most of the time.
Yeah, that's
So,
awesome. I have another question. What is the hardest aspect of your job, do you think?
The hardest aspect is the constant changing of the appliances
Mm.
and going out and trying to just think conceptually about them, and you run into things that uh people don't really have answers for yet because they're just constantly putting out new product, and sometimes there aren't even parts yet available and they're already broken.
Oh, wow.
And so that is the challenging thing, is just keeping up with, okay, what are all these codes now for this appliance, and trying to remember all the past things that you've run into. But I would say the progression of the appliance industry, without we're an independent shop, so we don't have um, training from manufacturers.
oh,
Mhm.
really? Wow.
So we do a lot of really having to learn about things on our own, and without relying on that information that people are given from bigger corporations that
Mm.
um, do appliance repair across
Wow.
the nation.
So the manufacturers don't have any training courses themselves on their new products, is what you're saying.
They have them for businesses that sell their product, or have a contract with them to do their warranty work.
Okay.
But we've just been so busy over the years, we haven't had any time to take on warranty work.
Mm.
And it's kind of like, okay, a last resort. If for some reason we were struggling, we would always have the option to do that. But once you do take it on, you've got to have probably 2 more employees to keep up with all of it.
Wow.
Interesting.
And
Wow.
it's just me and my dad.
Oh, wow. That's but it sounds like you are looking for other technicians.
Yes, I'm always looking for the right person.
Yeah, no, so that might be something that so again, we had you on because you're a woman working in a perceived man's occupation. You would probably welcome another woman who might be interested.
Definitely. Yeah, I think that would be great. We've had such a great response from our customers all the time about how great it is that we have hired a woman in our company. And I really think women are good at it. They're great with detail. And
Sounds like
I don't know. So that may be a generalization, but
No. So I at the beginning, I mentioned that I'm the apprenticeship coordinator, and we have about, I don't know, around 6 women in the apprenticeship program, and that detail orientated, that is one of the key things among most of the women in the program.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
was just thinking, Paul, this is a great apprenticeship opportunity for her to have an apprentice in her business and to, teach them on the job. So, yeah,
yeah,
that's
that would be great.
Yeah.
I've talked to my father about, hey, when you retire, maybe we can kind of transition into a part of like teaching a little bit.
Oh, exactly.
So do the classroom related training yourselves, as well as
Yes.
provide the on the job training.
Yeah.
So we should talk, Jordan, because I help companies develop
That's what
registered
I'm
apprenticeships. So we should talk.
Oh,
We should talk.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So you said what's the most difficult. What is the most rewarding part about your job?
The customers being just happy, you know, with that you fix their appliance and they're ready to go. You don't really realize, oh, I use this every day, or how much it affects your life. And people are just so grateful usually that they don't have to go spend $1,000 on a new washing machine. You know, they can keep what they have.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, because we all have they all work every single day. They work every single day like clockwork until they don't. And then when they
Exactly.
don't work, it's like my world is coming apart.
Yes.
Well, and that's the thing I feel like with appliances is it's kind of an emergency. I mean, not really, but kind of is when they fail, because all of a sudden, like, you have a freezer that goes out, or
Exactly.
something happens, and then you're like losing your food that you
Yeah.
had in the freezer. So it's kind of like one of those things, you can't really schedule it out for a week or two away. I mean, you could, but it's a loss, right?
So that leads me to question: is there such a thing in your business, Jordan, as an emergency?
Everything's an emergency. Oh my goodness. Everything
I had my mic off because I'm sick at home, so I don't want to have you guys hear me hacking and coughing, but our timer went off. Can you believe our 20 minutes is
Oh my
No,
goodness.
we're just getting started. I have a few more questions. I have a few more questions.
Appliance emergencies. That's
Yeah.
what we're talking about.
And it's such a specialized thing. People can't just say, oh, it's like, oh, I have a broken pipe or something, I can just repair it, or it's each appliance so specialized. Generally it is kind of like panicky because you don't know how to where to start even on doing something yourself, right?
It's
Yeah.
Thanksgiving. You're trying to cook your turkey and your oven suddenly stopped working. I mean, that's not like a life-changing emergency, but for some people, it might add quite a bit of stress.
Oh yeah, you've got 30 people or something coming over. What do you do?
Yeah. So have you ever had a call where someone said in the middle of the night, "Can you please get here"?
We have calls all the time, and for the longest time we didn't close on those holidays
Oh my
Oh.
God.
because Thanksgiving and Christmas are our busiest times of the year.
Oh.
People are baking and using their dishwashers and washing machines, and they want to fix all the little things that were broken that their family's going to notice, when they come to visit. And yeah, so we've gone out on Thanksgiving Day, on
Oh my
Christmas.
goodness.
And now we are closed, but the good thing about where we are now in the world is we have a Facebook Messenger, we have Google Messenger, so I can get these messages when I'm not in the shop, where like I'm not going to hand my cell phone number out to everybody. I'd be busy all night. But it's given us the opportunity that if we can make it over there, and we stock a lot of parts so that we can fix things right when we go out there. So I probably stock 67 different bake elements.
Wow.
So
Hey,
yeah, it's
Jordan,
important.
if someone wanted to get a hold of your company, how would they do that?
Well, our website is tuckersapplianceid.com, and there's a form on there that you can fill out, and it sends me an email, or they can call us 208-233-1608. It's been our number since they were more than 3 digits. And because I actually have cards where our phone number was just that. And then we also have our email, Tucker's app @msn.com. So or Facebook and Instagram.
Excellent. Excellent, excellent. Hey, Jordan, thank you so much for being on today.
Thanks for having
This
me.
is kind of fun, and we I think we'd like to have you back on again because I think we just got started with this conversation, and I still have questions. Uh,
Sounds great.
Excellent. RaeLyn, thank you so much for joining us again. RaeLyn's like the new co-host, and she'll always be on. Angie, as always.
As
I'm going to change this to I can't do this without you. No,
Thanks to all of you.
no, thank you. Now, if you wanted to get a hold of us or check out our offerings, you can visit our webpage at cetrain.isu.edu. You can also email us at cetrain@isu.edu, or you can give us a call at 208-282-3372. Thank you so much for listening. And if you enjoy this content, please like, share, subscribe, and be safe out there.